Hello, Professor Randon. My name is Sonny Afzall, and today I will be explaining to you my redesign of the game Outrun. Now, my redesign mostly focuses on the dice aspect and whether a dice is biased or unbiased. Now, a biased dice is a dice that manipulates probability, so each side has a different chance to be landed on. A regular dice, as we all know, it has each side an equal chance to be landed on, so each side has 1/6. It's fair, a complete fair dice. So before I explain the rules, I will show you my board game, my board design. So it's a pretty simple design. It has 100 spaces, and let's establish right now that this is not a race to the end style. You actually want to stay on the lower half of the board to be successful. If you are near the top, you will be in danger of being eliminated, and if you land on the skull, the final spot, you will be eliminated, assuming if it's one-on-one. Depends how many players are playing. So for this example, I will only do a 2-player demonstration, and since it's only me here, I will be both players. And I'll do my best to explain what is going on. So I will be this red pawn right here. My opponent will be the blue pawn. Now, before the game begins, we must each choose one dice from a pool. So let's say I choose this black one, and my opponent chooses this yellow one. Now we must each make a prediction. The prediction will be what the total number will be when these two dice are rolled together. So let's say I predict 10. So I need these dice to roll on two numbers that equal 10. Let's say my opponent predicts 7. So now that we each have our prediction, we must roll the two dice at the same time. Excuse me. So the dice landed on 6 and 2. So total number is 8. So my prediction was a 10. So I must do 10 minus 8, which gives me 2. So I will move 2 spaces on the board. My opponent predicted 7. So since the total number is actually 8, he will do 8 minus 7. So his score is 1. So he will move 1 space on the board. Since I am ahead of him on the board, that means I'm currently losing. But it's still very early, and this game has many analyzing aspects to it. So let's go to the next round. I will now predict 9, and my opponent will predict 7 again. So 6 and 2, so it was 8. So I predicted a 9, so I must subtract 9 minus 8, and I get a score of 1. So I will move 1 space on the board. My opponent predicted at 7, so we will do 8 minus 7, and he will also move 1 space on the board. So not much. We haven't moved that much yet, but right now I am still currently losing. I am the red piece. So now I'll explain what's going on. So I am currently the black dice. That's my dice currently, and I've noticed that it's rolled 6 twice. Now, if I am currently analyzing what's going on, I might assume that my dice is biased. So I will now make predictions that caters to the number 6. Now logically, I should not predict a total number below 6. Because if my dice lands on 6, there's no possible way that a total number will be 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, you know? So I should predict numbers that are above 6. And since there are only 2 dice here, logically the highest the total number can be is 12, because there's 2 dice and it's 6 sides. So 12 is the highest number that these 2 dice can go. And since I have predicted that my biased dice is 6, I should pick a total number between 6 and 12. Now, I will never get confirmation that my dice is actually biased. That's the point of the game. So, after I make my observation, I should start analyzing my opponent's dice. Is his dice biased? Maybe, maybe not. And he should actually be monitoring my dice and his too. So I should also be thinking, does he know my dice is biased because I just got 2 in a row? You know, that's all up to observation, and it will never be confirmed whether the dice is biased. So let's keep going. Now my prediction will be, let's say, 11. And my opponent predicts 6. So 11 and 6 are the 2 predictions. So the numbers are 6 and 5. So I predicted 11 and I was correct. So 11 minus 11, 0. So I will move 0 spaces on the board. My opponent predicted 6 and the total is actually 11. So the math would be 11 minus 6, so that would be 5. So he will move now 5 spaces on the board. He's the blue pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since he is currently ahead of me on the board, I am currently winning. So, as we all know, that is mostly the point of the game, to analyze whether the dice is biased or not. And, you know, as the game progresses, you know, a lot of twists and turns can happen. Obviously, he can end up winning. He can actually end up winning by, you know, working on his observation skills and realizing what's going on. So, and whoever ends up on the skull first will be eliminated. So if he ends up there, and I'm currently right here later on, I will win the game because he's been eliminated. Now this game will become more tricky as more players decide to play. So let's say 5 people decide to play this game. Suddenly, I now not only have to monitor my dice, I have to monitor the dice of, you know, the 4 other people that decide to play. So it is more tricky as more people decide to play, but that's the fun of it. It requires you to analyze your dice, your opponent's dice, and make these predictions based on your analyzing skills and critical thinking. Now, let's also establish that this can be a luck game also. So let's just say if you just want to have fun, you don't have to make any predictions. You don't have to analyze if your dice is biased or not. You can just have fun with it, and just make random predictions, and those random predictions might work in your favor or they might not. So, you know, the skill aspect is definitely there if you want to really win and establish how good you are. But, you know, on the flip side, you can also, you know, make it a chance game and just roll the dice and have fun and, you know, have a good time. So it's definitely a hybrid of luck and skill, and that's what I love about this idea. I worked really hard on it, and I hope you like the idea. Now, I will confirm right now to you, Professor Randon, that this black dice is in fact biased to 6, and I will prove it to you. 6. Oh, 4. Well, actually, the truth is, it will not land on 6 100% of the time, but most likely it will. So let's continue. 6. 6. Oh, 3. 2. 6. 4. 4. 1. 6. 4. 4. 6. So as you can see, 6 is the number that comes up mostly. So, you know, as the game goes on, hopefully you identify that 6 is the biased number, and you can utilize that skill to your advantage and hopefully stay ahead in the game. Now, on a side note, just so you know, Professor Randon, all these dice are biased to 6. I was hoping that I could find, variety of biased dice, but actually they're really tricky to find. And most of them are 100% loaded to one side. So I'm going to roll these all at the same time. And you will notice that all of them have landed on 6. So that's pretty much my point. That, it is tricky to find dice that are distributed differently to each side. Normally the dice you find online will be manipulated to one number mostly. So 6 here 6 is a number that more than 80% will land on. So, ideally I would find dice that are more distributed among the 6 sides. So if you roll the dice 20 times, ideally 6 will only come up maybe 6 times, 7 times, and not in a row. Because if it lands on 6, like 6 times in a row, then it becomes very obvious. So that is pretty much the point of my game, and it is a mix of luck and skill. And I am very proud of this game, and hopefully you like the idea, Professor Randon. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. But this is basically the gist of it, and I hope you had a fun time watching it. So thank you.